You know what's funny? I got this weird thought today. I was looking at potatoes and they suddenly struck me as mini planets. Don't ask why, my mind really took a tasty culinary tour. To lighten the madness, Juwan nicknamed me Spudstronaut, and Yuna suggested Planet Potato as a new sci-fi series. Crazy, right? But our chats always keep me entertained. Anywho, I actually had a moment of serious nostalgia today. I recreated Mum's sourdough loaf. The aroma of that sourdough, it was like stepping back into childhood. I remembered how she would mix the ingredients, letting the dough rise overnight. It was my first real culinary experience and a recipe that sparked my love for cooking. You know, it's such a trip revisiting that. Makes you appreciate where it all began. My culinary origin story, as I teased Juwan. You remember the taste, right? Next time we meet up, I gotta whip up a batch for you. Actually, we got this friendly fun idea in the chat. We were thinking about compiling a friend-family cookbook. Favorite recipes that each of us picked up from our families, all in one place. Kinda really digging this idea. You in? It'll be like attaining a piece of home here in Seoul. By the way, any recent cinema experiences you'd want to share? Yuna was looking for movie suggestions, and I cunningly kept up my culinary spirit, tossed Ratatouille for her. Don't you think it never gets old? Time for some sourdough breadcrumb thoughts, I guess. I think giving moments of our past flavors to remember actually adds a rich color to our present experiences. Food is so much more than just nourishment, it's memory, it's warmth, it's home. What say you, chef? I could go on forever talking about this and how it makes me feel, but the kitchen is calling me back, my friend. Isn't it amazing how the simple act of combining two different culinary worlds can create such a beautiful harmony? Suman and I hosted a little fusion food festival at work today, experimenting with Italian-Korean fusion cuisine. We whipped up a kimchi spaghetti, bulgogi pizza, and the showstopper, a galbi lasagna. I was honestly a tad nervous, meshing these eccentric flavors. But oh boy, was it a hit. The spaghetti was a magical dance of tang and tangy, and the pizza was like an adventure trip for the taste buds. The lasagna, though? It was like attending a concert by a world-renowned orchestra. Rich, harmonious, a delectable symphony of Korean-Italian savor. I had shared this in our chat room, and of course the reactions were a mix of awe, curiosity, and outright laughter. Yuna especially was intrigued about this innovative menu and promised to visit us soon. Juwan, you remember him, right? Always the joker, he coined this hilarious term, soul, good for it. You know what's funny? We'd earlier chatted about what if cats could code, and lo and behold, we ended up with a new galaxy-themed fast food idea. Spudstronaut and Planet Potato. Juwan's mental escapades had us in splits. We cooked, laughed, shared stories, and just had a great time today. That's one for the community connections, isn't it? This is what food does. It bridges gaps, connects people, and binds us in this beautiful shared experience. Our chats, our food sessions together, they're more than just talk and cooking. It's our common love for food, a shared appreciation of the beautiful story behind each dish. And just like that, the sun sets on another beautiful day here in Seoul. I am off to wind down with some music. Sunrise over Seoul is what's on my playlist now. Heard it yet? It's a mellow-tuned poetry, blissful and warm, almost like the warmth from a freshly baked bread. But that's a story for another time. I always took sunrises for granted, but never again. Yuna has taught me a lesson. I tell you, friend, when you've got the right people by your side, no moment is mundane. And now I'm going to dive into the world of music, one note at a time. I owe you a kimchi spaghetti, and I wouldn't forget. Share your day with me. Any chance to hear about new culinary experiments gone right, or hilariously wrong? You know what's amazing about being part of a community? It grounds you and gives you a purpose bigger than yourself. Today I took the bouldering group up to Seoraksan. Man, the climb was tough yet liberating. The view from the top made it all worth it. It was like looking down at a giant bowl of bibimbap, each leaf and rock a different ingredient, adding color and depth to the scenery. We had a proper picnic midway up the climb. Guess what I brought? Of course, some of my famous homemade bread. Hearing the crunch of the crust echoing around the mountains, followed by moments of silence as everyone savored the taste, made me realize it's these shared moments that add spice to our lives. Juhwan and Yuna couldn't join, but I kept them in the loop. They found the whole situation funny, imagining us chowing down burgers high up on a mountain. Besides climbing, we discussed some crazy ideas. Imagine a bouldering simulator at home. Juhwan sparked the idea, and Yuna decided why not dive in the Mariana Trench virtually. We have the weirdest but the most fun conversations, you know. Speaking of fun, I watched Parasite today. The way it peeled back layers of society was just remarkable. Makes you see things in a different light, doesn't it? I mentioned it to Juhwan and Yuna. Juhwan remembered the Japaguri scene and got all hungry, and Yuna reflected on the heavy symbolism of the film. Usual stuff. The best part of watching that film was that it left me inspired to cook a mix of ramdon next time we catch up. Just wait, it'll be a revelation. Ah, Juhwan. That guy is still coding away. He's persistent, I'll give him that. He updated something on GitHub while Yuna finished a report on marine life. We're all on our own adventures, I suppose. We can take lessons from weeds too, friend. They don't have the prettiest life, but they dig in, pushing through rock and soil to reach sunlight. It's a resilience we can all learn from. Anyway, time to go.